Welcome to the CrossKnowledge podcast. Here we discuss the trends, opportunities, and challenges of corporate digital learning. Let's meet today's host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the CrossKnowledge podcast. I'm Renan, and I'll be your host today. The Human Advantage series is a new series of the CrossKnowledge podcast where we explore the pivotal role of humans in driving organizational success. The idea is to hold conversations with business leaders and experts who have demonstrated a deep commitment to fostering a more human workplace. Today, I am thrilled to welcome a distinguished guest whose expertise in human resources and talent development is truly exceptional. Tijana Catenazzi is an accomplished HR business partner who plays a pivotal role in driving innovation and growth at Baxter. She supports the integrated supply chain for the medical products and therapist business across the EMEA and APAC regions. With a passion for helping people grow, Tijana is deeply committed to fostering a culture of continuous learning and development. Her extensive experience spans from building learning communities, promoting coaching cultures, and navigating the evolving landscape of talent development. These are invaluable for any leader striving to unlock learning agility in the workplace, which is our topic today. Tijana, it is a great pleasure to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here and about the topic that we have at our hands.
That's great. So, Tiana, just to get started, can you tell us a bit more about your background and how your passion for people development has influenced your journey?
Definitely. So I have to say that my journey hasn't been a very straight line. I have a background in accounting and admin, and I happened to pivot into HR almost like by chance. It was a gut feeling that I had. My sister completed an HR assistant certification, so I said, I have the materials. Why don't I try to take the test without any preparation? So I went in, I did the test, and really pivoted my career and life toward HR. And that's where I started with Baxter almost 13 years ago. And I think one thing that really shaped me and shaped what I am today and the passion that I have for people, it's really the ability to have people who care about you and your development, managers that are able to make you grow, to help you drive performance, to really get the best out of you. So I started like this in Baxter in a small manufacturing plant, about 50 people. I was doing the HR coordinator role there. And over time, with passion and with the help of my managers, I was able to grow into the current role, which is a multi-region role with a lot of amazing things that we are doing. So I'm very happy, and I think this helped me really cement my willingness to help others really be the best version of themselves. So 2020, I decided to do another thing. I decided to do a coaching certification. I'm currently a PCC level accredited coach with the International Coaching Federation. So I continue to work and build and learn to help people become their best version.
That sounds really, really amazing, and what a journey! What a journey! Yeah, and what really got my attention was that there was like a lot of learning while you moved into an HR position, and you had a lot of support as well. So that's really, really fantastic. So basically, you mentioned that learning agility is one of your passions, and something it's a topic that is you're very passionate about. Can you share with us what is your definition of learning agility, and why do you think it's crucial in today's workplace?
For me, learning agility is about the curiosity that you have, about the willingness to get outside of your comfort zone and really be open to listen and to ask questions. So for me, learning agility, it's more about your self reflection and your ability to have that mindset. It's more a way of doing things than an actual skill. I think if you put your mind, anyone can have learning agility if they put their mind to it. And I think it's a critical skill in the current environment. We have a volatile, unexpected, very complex workplace and environment, the global challenges that we have in the workplace, but also outside, are constant. So people need that adaptability, that um, it's a key part of making yourself successful in life and work. It's really having that curiosity, that asking questions, that um, supporting yourself to adapt to new and better environments.
Yeah, and it's interesting because actually once I heard that any long-term solution always starts with learning. So if you really want to build that long-term solution or that next solution that to solve the problem that we're having, it always starts with learning. So learning agility in that setting, as you just mentioned, is really really crucial. But if we're thinking about a business setting, who would you say holds the responsibility for fostering learning agility?
That's a really good and tricky question. Oftentimes we feel like HR or learning and development owns certain things, but learning agility becomes part of the culture. It's embedded in everything we do. So I think the responsibility of creating and sustaining a learning culture and a learning agility, it comes to each one of us, starting from the top, of course, as role models, but then cascaded and really taught through behavior and examples through the organization to all levels.
Yeah, and then you mentioned that it always starts like with L&D. Like L&D has like their role to play. Can you share with us a little bit more about how the L&D department can contribute to promoting learning agility within the organization?
Absolutely. I think that L&D role, it's really critical. It's what brings everything to life. It's what I think it's critical for them is to start from the end, what we are trying to achieve, why it's important to have a learning culture, and how that can be built backwards. What do we need to implement to be able to get to that end game? How we are going to implement it? What are the business needs that we can address now in the current stage to get to where we need to be? And really, the stakeholder management for L&D, I think it's really critical. I think that one of the key aspects is really understanding very well the business, knowing the needs and the challenges, and really spend a lot of time within the business to observe, ask questions, so that whatever you are bringing, it's something that can help us perform better, be more effective, and then we will immediately see the results and the return of investment, and we will build momentum. So it really starts with that, with the needs and what we can help. How can we help the organization in the now with an end goal to build this everlasting learning agility within our culture?
Yeah, and it really feels like L&D, when it comes to learning, like L&D is more of a orchestrator. It's more of an orchestrator because actually sometimes people will just, as you mentioned earlier, people will just develop this curiosity, and they will just look for knowledge at at their own on their own. But I think like L&D holds like this function of orchestrating, like, okay, so it's really getting like, okay, so you need to learn this to respond to this business need. So it's more like an orchestrator of how learning goes like within the organization.
Absolutely. They're kind of the maestro of the
Yeah,
symphony. So they
exactly.
need to be able to have everything go into an harmony and sound good together and work well together. So definitely they are a key part of making it sound good in the
Yeah,
end.
that's great. Okay, so Tiana, you mentioned that one of your key projects at Baxter was to build a learning community. Can you tell us more about that? How did you do it?
Yes, so it didn't set up to be really, that wasn't my end goal. What we did is that we have this amazing thing at Baxter that it's eye care. Eye care existed even before I took over the project. It's something that we have to connect every employee to our mission of saving and sustaining lives. So it's something we feel very deeply in Baxter. And I care it's our way, especially in integrated supply chain where we may be farther away from the end product, to help people understand what are our products, what they are used for, and bring the experiences of our patients. So, what I did when I took over this project from a very amazing leader that was focused on the quality side of course, of this part, because once people know what the product is, they are even more solicited to think about the quality of the product. What I did was to, first of all, understand what we wanted to achieve, so the engagement of every employee and the knowledge of the final product. But then it's difficult for me to think about having something that impacts each and every employee designed just at global level and then somehow delivered at the different plants. We have a global network, very different culture, very different languages.
Yeah.
So my approach to that was like, let's build something in co-creation with the plants. I had my idea, we wanted to achieve, a cultural framework where everything is connected to our mission. But then I went and discussed with several champions at the different sites, and we started building together. We started learning from each other. We started sharing best practices between the different sites. Of course, what works well in one site may not work perfectly exactly the same in another, but just the experience, the ability to build a network within the global sites, and starting that curiosity about people asking, how did you do that? What did you use here? I think it was really powerful because everyone felt closer to this, because it wasn't something we decided this is how you're going to do it. We say, this is what we are trying to achieve. These are the tools that you have. How do we make it work for you? What do you need to make it work for you? What do you need to build something similar in your location? And so there was this amazing energy. People were translating things, people were sharing their experience. It was really an amazing journey that teach me how much single people can have ideas, can have things that you may not be able to see in a global big company. But if you bring them together, something magical happens.
Yeah, that's totally fine. It just got me thinking about, well, any long-term solution starts with learning, but then it also needs collaboration between a lot of people, because that's when the back and forth starts going on. It started like to take place, and exchanging ideas and new solutions are being developed. So that's really sounds like an amazing project. Congratulations, Deanna.
Thank you.
Okay, so I've been speaking with lots of L&D people, and what I find a common obstacle today in organizations is lack of time. So I think people are so overloaded with things to do that they really lack the time to for they really lack the time to learn at work. How do you suggest we encourage learning agility despite this challenge?
That's very, very interesting. I think there are a lot of constraints in, especially in a manufacturing business. There are a lot of priorities. So I feel this very much as one of our challenges. But I think there are a couple of things that we can look at to make sure that we provide value. So first of all, to offer opportunities for smaller bite-sized learnings that can be consumed very quickly and implemented very quickly. And then very solution oriented in the sense that we shouldn't be teaching just for the sake of teaching. We shouldn't do trainings just for the sake of trainings, but helping people implement the things that they are learning live in their current challenges. So tailoring what we provide to their current challenges. And then leading by example, so showing how this has impacted the careers of our top leadership, making sure that everyone knows that we support learning and that it's something that you should have time for, because the results that you will get will be multiplied. So the investment you have in time now will quickly and very surely translate in better performance or new solutions, innovation, better productivity. So it's really a win-win for the business. And if we are able to articulate that, to show the end where we want to go, and to say, to somehow appeal to their willingness to improve their own performance, I think it's more easy for people to understand the value and to really enjoy the learnings.
Yeah, that's really great because actually it made me think about it always comes back to culture, like the company culture. So if you have the culture that uh, favors learning, that gives room for learning, people will learn. People will. So and it's also like it's a business wide commitment, like as you said, like from top leadership to make like really common that like well you have time for learning. So it's pretty much like about company culture. If I like that's what I that's what got me
Absolutely.
thinking.
Absolutely. The company culture is really how we can make it a reality.
Yeah,
Because if you see your colleagues developing and learning and building new skills, it's difficult also for you to keep thinking, I can stay the same forever and
yeah,
everything will be good. Even for machines, we use maintenance, we use upgrades. So even if you don't want to grow and to have a great career, you want to just do your work and then go home. I think it's really important to continue to learn and develop, because we are in a constant change, constant innovation world. We have generative artificial intelligence
yeah.
coming at us, so there is no way to stop learning. It's a necessity, but it's also great fun and, you know, fulfillment.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, any long term solution starts with learning.
Absolutely.
So now we're leading to the last question of this episode. So for L&D leaders willing to promote learning agility in their organizations, what advice would you give them?
I will say start with the end in mind. So, what are we trying to achieve by trying to promote learning agility? What are the things that you want to get to? And also asking ourselves what learning agility is for us. What does it mean for your operator, your admin, the different people in your organization? What does it mean? Do they know what learning agility is? And then, as I said, work re- backward, work about building the steps to get there and really make it digestible, make it small and constant so that people see momentum and people can feel the benefits so that they will be the ones that will promote it, that will talk about it, that will create the buzz.
That sounds really amazing. Well, Tiana, thank you so much for your participation in this episode of our series of the Human Adventure series. I really like to thank you for all the contribution. I think we learned a lot on how to promote learning agility within organizations. So thank you so very much for your participation.
Thank you for inviting me. It has been a pleasure to speak with you, and the topic is very, very important for me.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you again for the next episode of the CrossKnowledge podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and colleagues.